In the vast tapestry of the Bible, there are countless stories that have shaped cultures, inspired faith, and ignited imaginations for centuries. But amidst the well-known tales of Noah's Ark, David and Goliath, and Moses parting the Red Sea, there exists a treasure trove of lesser-known, untold stories that are just as compelling. Today, we're diving into some of these hidden gems, revealing their richness and relevance in today's world. Let's start with the story of Ehud, a left-handed judge of Israel. In a time when the Israelites were under the oppressive rule of King Eglon of Moab, Ehud rose to the occasion. He crafted a double-edged sword, concealed it on his right thigh, and approached the king with a tribute. Eglon, who was quite a hefty man, was caught off guard by Ehud's unexpected presence. Now here's where it gets intriguing. After delivering the tribute, Ehud said to the king, "I have a secret message for you." Eglon, intrigued and perhaps a bit flattered, dismissed everyone from the room. What happened next is a mix of bravery and cunning. Ehud drew his sword and plunged it into Eglon's belly, so deep that even the handle sank in. The story doesn't shy away from the gruesome details, noting how Eglon's fat closed over the blade. Ehud then made his escape, and when the guards found their king, they assumed he was merely resting, which gave Ehud enough time to rally the Israelites and defeat the Moabites. This story teaches us about divine intervention, the power of resourcefulness, and how sometimes the underdog can turn the tide against overwhelming odds. Now let's shift our focus to a woman named Jael. You may not have heard of her, but her story is nothing short of remarkable. During the time of Deborah, a prophetess and judge of Israel, Jael played a crucial role in defeating Sisera, the commander of the Canaanite army. After a fierce battle, Sisera fled and sought refuge in Jael's tent. She welcomed him, offered him milk, and as he fell asleep, she seized the opportunity. With a tent peg and a hammer, Jael drove the peg through Sisera's temple, killing him instantly. This act of bravery not only secured her place in history, but also showcased the idea that everyone, regardless of their social standing or gender, can contribute to a greater cause. Jael's story challenges conventional notions of heroism and reminds us that sometimes victory comes from the most unexpected places. Next up, let's talk about the prophet Hosea, whose life was a living metaphor for God's love and mercy. Hosea was commanded by God to marry Gomer, a woman known for her unfaithfulness. Imagine the turmoil: Hosea, a man of God, marrying someone whose actions would bring him pain and heartache. Yet this story unfolds in a profound way. Despite Gomer's repeated infidelity, Hosea continued to love her, demonstrating unwavering commitment. Their tumultuous relationship became a powerful symbol of God's relationship with Israel. Just like Gomer, the Israelites often strayed from their faith, yet God's love remained steadfast. This narrative illustrates the depths of love and forgiveness, encouraging us to reflect on our own relationships and the importance of loyalty and compassion. Now let's explore the story of the Shunammite woman, a remarkable figure who is often overlooked. This woman showed kindness to the prophet Elisha by providing him with a room in her home whenever he passed through her town. In return for her hospitality, Elisha wanted to bless her. When he asked what she desired, she simply replied that she was content. However, Elisha learned that she had no children and her husband was old. In a remarkable turn of events, Elisha prophesied that she would have a son within a year. True to his word, she bore a son, and her joy was complete. But tragedy struck when the boy suddenly died. In her grief, the Shunammite woman sought out Elisha, refusing to accept her loss. In a dramatic moment, Elisha returned with her, laid on the boy, and miraculously brought him back to life. This story highlights the themes of faith, resilience, and the profound impact of community. The Shunammite woman's unwavering hope in the face of despair teaches us that our greatest trials can lead to miraculous outcomes, and that help often comes from those we least expect. And how about the tale of the widow of Zarephath? During a severe famine, the prophet Elijah was sent to this widow, who was preparing to make a final meal for herself and her son before they succumbed to starvation. Elijah asked her for water and a piece of bread. The widow, in her desperation, explained that she had only a handful of flour and a little oil left. But Elijah, filled with faith, told her not to fear. He assured her that if she made him a small cake first, her flour and oil would not run out until the day the Lord sent rain. Miraculously, the widow obeyed, and her supplies lasted through the entire famine. This story speaks volumes about faith and obedience. It teaches us that sometimes we must let go of our fears and trust in something greater, even when our circumstances seem dire. Lastly, let's take a moment to reflect on the story of the Ethiopian eunuch. This account is a powerful reminder of inclusivity and the reach of the gospel. The eunuch was a high-ranking official in charge of the treasury of the Queen of Ethiopia. He was returning home after worshiping in Jerusalem when Philip, one of the apostles, was led by the Spirit to approach his chariot. The eunuch was reading the book of Isaiah, struggling to understand its meaning. Philip seized the opportunity to explain the scriptures to him, revealing how they pointed to Jesus. The conversation led to the eunuch requesting baptism, and right there, in the middle of the desert, Philip baptized him. This story emphasizes that the message of love and salvation is for everyone, regardless of their background or status. It challenges us to reach out to those who may feel excluded or marginalized. As we explore these untold Bible stories, we uncover themes of bravery, loyalty, faith, resilience, and inclusivity. These narratives remind us that every person has a role to play, and that divine purpose often unfolds in the most unexpected ways. In a world that often feels divided and chaotic, these stories offer not only inspiration, but also a sense of hope. They encourage us to look beyond the surface and recognize the extraordinary within the ordinary. So the next time you find yourself flipping through the pages of the Bible, take a moment to seek out the untold stories. You may just discover a message that resonates deeply in your own life, reminding you that the power of faith, love, and resilience is timeless and universal. In conclusion, the richness of these lesser-known stories paints a more inclusive and profound picture of faith and humanity. They remind us that the narratives we often overlook can hold the most significant lessons.